What's up, my people, and welcome to the channel. My name is Diamond, and today I want to talk about Dave Ramsey and his 7 baby steps. I want to discuss what they are, how they work, and more importantly, why do they work. So if you're in the process of getting out of debt or trying to build wealth, this is a system that you want to take a look at whether or not you use it, because it's been around for decades. It's helped millions of people get out of debt and get on the path of building wealth and changing their family tree. So it's definitely worth knowing about. If you don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he's a financial expert who's been in the business for over 30 years. He's the creator of the Baby Steps and a program called Financial Peace University. He's authored many books to include the #1 best-selling, The Total Money Makeover, which I'll leave a link for down in the description below, where you can read all about Dave Ramsey, his story, and the baby steps. But for this video, let's talk about the 7 baby steps. Now, a lot of people may not agree with all of his advice, but it's very difficult to argue with these 7 baby steps because they just work. Here's why. Baby step 1 is probably the most controversial baby step of them all, and that's save $1,000. That's a starter emergency fund. And a lot of people argue that $1,000 is not enough. But the truth is, this program is designed to get you from living paycheck to paycheck, deep in debt, not knowing what to do with your finances, to being wealthy and outrageously generous. So before we can get into the fun stuff, you have to start with getting out of debt. But before you do that, you need some money saved. And that's baby step 1. That baby step is designed to be small on purpose. And it's 2 reasons why. 1, it's only designed to be able to cover small, minor emergencies that would normally throw you back off track and make you go back to using your credit cards to cover whatever that is. So if you have a flat tire, or you need a new starter on your car, or something just pop up on you, you have the money available to just take care of it, and then you can put that money back with your next check and keep it moving. And for a lot of people, $1,000 is a lot of money. Some folks haven't had $1,000. So $1,000 is better than nothing. And as we move through the baby steps, you're going to understand that down the road, we're going to build a much larger emergency fund. But for now, get started with $1,000. Baby step 2 is where you pay off all your debt except for your house using the snowball method. Now, the snowball method is one that Dave Ramsey loves to recommend because it's about the mental more than it is the math. You're going to list your debts, smallest to largest, based off their balance. And you're going to pay everything you can towards the smallest debt. Once you get that debt paid off, you're going to roll those payments and that extra money into the next one. Thus, the snowball is going to get bigger. Your payments are going to get bigger, so you're going to be getting out of debt faster as you move up. And since you're paying off your smallest debts first, out the gate, you're going to get some wins, which is going to give you that psychological boost that's going to help you keep going. Because if you're staring down the barrel of $50, $100, $200,000 worth of debt, it can be pretty daunting to start with your smallest debt, knowing that you have this big pile waiting for you. So these little wins is going to keep you going. And what's also unique about this program, and as you work through it, is you're going to adjust the way you think about money. And this is not something that you're going to do on purpose, but by the end of this, you will come out of it thinking and moving much differently than the way you went in. So once you get all your debts paid off, now you're ready to move on to baby step 3. Baby step 3 is where you save 3 to 6 months of your expenses, and that's going to be your fully funded emergency fund. Now, this is where you take that $1,000 that you had, and you're going to bump this up to whatever 3 to 6 months is for you. So maybe this is $15,000, maybe this is $30,000, whatever that number is. Now you're going to put your energy and effort into getting to that number. And this emergency fund is there to help you from falling back into the previous step. See, these first 3 steps is all about building a foundation, a solid financial foundation that you can build the rest of your financial future on. So that $1,000 you saved, that sets you up so you don't have to go into debt, because you can't get out of debt if you're still trying to use debt. So the $1,000 keeps you from using your debt instruments like credit cards. Baby step 2 allows you to pay off all your debt, which frees up more money, which makes it easier to build your 3 to 6 month emergency fund. And now that you have that in place, you're ready to cover those bigger emergencies that life can throw at you. Now you have the money in the bank that will allow you to be calm when things like this come up in your life. And then we can move forward. Now, before we go to baby step 4, we have a micro step or a step within a step. Baby step 3B. Baby step 3B is where you save a down payment for a house. Because you've paid off all your debt and you have a fully funded emergency fund, this is the perfect time to start putting money away to pay for a down payment. And the goal here is to put 20% down. This will allow you to qualify for a conventional loan and avoid PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, which is really just a penalty for not putting enough money down and a complete waste of your money, which will be a topic of a future video, so make sure your notifications are turned on. And if you do your research, you can find loans where you can qualify without paying PMI with as little as 5% down, which again, I will be making videos on that in the future. The key here is to not stay here too long, because if you stay here too long, it can delay you getting to baby step 7. Baby step 4 is where you save 15% of your income. This is your household income. 15% of your household income into retirement. You see, up until this point, you actually would have stopped investing for your retirement because we're trying to get those first 3 steps done as fast as possible. Dave Ramsey calls it gazelle intensity. Those first 3 steps has to be done with focus, with intensity, and with purpose, because it's very easy to just fall off track. When you're trying to pay off that debt in baby step 2, it's going to be a lot of things that can come up that can easily cause you to throw your hands up and say forget it and think that you can't get it done. But if you are going at it with focus and intensity, then you have a much better chance of moving forward and getting it done. And like I said earlier, each one of these steps help you from falling back to the previous step. And by having your 3 to 6 month emergency fund in place, and now you're investing into your retirement, now because you have that emergency fund, you won't have to dip into your retirement savings if something major comes up in your life. So it's important, and you can start to see why these steps are in the order that they're in. Baby step 5 is where you save for your children's college fund. Now, if you don't have kids or you don't want to save for your kids' college, then that's okay, and you can just skip this step. But if you do want to save for your kids' college, this is the step that you're going to start working towards that goal. Now, Dave Ramsey doesn't put a specific amount or a percentage that you should be putting towards your kids' college, because that number is going to be a variable number based off of your own situation. Things like how old are your kids, how much school are you willing to pay for, and what do you think that school is going to cost, all will play a factor in how much you need to save. If you start when your kids are young, you can put a relatively small amount away each month, and that will grow to enough to cover them. If your kid is 12 years old or 15 years old, you need to be putting big chunks of money if you're trying to get to a 4-year degree paid for before they start school. And this is the step that I'm on. My son is less than 2 weeks old, and I'm anxiously waiting the arrival of his Social Security card so I can get his 529 started. This is something that we want to do. This is something that we will get done. And I will be making videos along the way to help you, because there's a lot of unique ways to save for your kids' college. Things like 529s, Uniform Transfer to Minor Act. You also have the ability to just open a mutual fund or a ETF and label it your kids, even though it's yours and it's in your name. You got different tax advantages with different accounts, and we're going to dive deep into all of those different things in future videos. So make sure you stay tuned and your notifications are turned on. Baby step 6 is to pay off your home early. And this is your personal residence. The reason you want to get this done is because it will put you in a unique position to build wealth. At this point, once you get this done, you won't have any debts in the world. You won't owe a soul a penny. And now all of your income is able to be used to help you build wealth. And there really is no downside to paying your home off, especially paying it off early. And the only people who will tell you not to pay your home off early is probably somebody who's trying to sell you some type of product or service. So in this step, you're getting your home paid off early. And then we move on to baby step 7. Baby step 7 is where you build wealth and help out a bunch of people by being outrageously generous with both your time and your money. I've shown you in other videos on how a car payment can turn into $3.1 million. Now add a house payment in the mix and top it off with 15% of your income. And the math becomes clear on how you're going to be able to build wealth. And to quote Chris Hogan, retirement is not a financial age. It's not 59 or 62 or 70. It's a financial number. So retirement looks like $2.3 million that requires you to save $1,500 a month, which as you can see is totally possible. Now, how do you use these steps to be financially successful in your life? You have to stick to the plan. These steps are done in order. And baby steps 1, 2, and 3 is done one at a time. And baby steps 4, 5, and 6 is done simultaneously. This process is likened to building a house. Baby steps 1, 2, and 3 is the foundation of the house. If you skip a step here or you get it out of order, if you don't do it right, then down the road it's going to show up and it's going to cost you. So build the proper foundation. Baby steps 4, 5, and 6 is the framing, the plumbing, the electrical. This is where the house is taking shape, it's being finalized, and baby step 7 is where you have your completed home and you get to move in and enjoy the fruits of your labor. And the best advice I can give you is stay focused. Baby step 2 is by far the hardest one of them all. And I couldn't even think about baby step 4 when I was in baby step 2, because when I added up 15%, I looked and saw there was no way I was going to be able to do that. But then I added up all my payments, and there I found my 15%. And it was at that moment that I was like, oh no, this is not it. I am not about to be one of those honest, hardworking people who worked my whole life only to end up 75 years old, still working just to make ends meet. Nope, that was not going to be my story. I decided to make a change. And here I sit now on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. And I smile as I calculate and track my net worth each and every month. And this was just a peek behind the curtains. If you want to learn more about Dave Ramsey and the tools available, then check out this video here where I did a deep dive on Ramsey Plus and showed you the Baby Step Tracker app, the budgeting app Every Dollar, and Financial Peace University. And if you're really serious about getting out of debt, I want you to click on this playlist right here, which is all about how to get out of debt, because that is what this channel is about, helping everyday people overcome everyday problems. Because like I said, I go to work to build my future, not pay for my past, and I feel you should too. Until next time, I'm Diamond. Peace.